Hi class, welcome to week 1 of History 103, U.S. History to 1877. The theme of my video today is History, Who Cares? So just to remind you that I am a real human being, not a robot, I've put over here on my screen a picture of me, my husband, and our dog, whose name is Mango Jalapeno. I will leave it to you to figure out which entity in this picture is me, which is my husband, and which is the dog. Then I have this shrug emoji here because we're thinking about history. Who cares? Why should you care? I think you should care. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to introduce the concept of history. Who cares? Then I'm going to really briefly go from sort of the conceptual level to the day-to-day basic level. What do you need to be doing in the class? So we're going to look ahead to week 1 and week 2 and then to essay 1. So we'll do that. Then we'll come back into week 1 and I'll go through the assignments just a little bit with you, those week 1 assignments. So that's what we're doing here now. So, number 1, introduce the concept of history. Who cares? Who cares? Why should you care? I know you probably have to take this class for some reason or another. I'm so happy you're here. I love teaching history. I love teaching history sort of in the context of teaching it to people who maybe need to be sold a little bit why they should care. So let me just talk a little bit about that here. Basically, what I think, what most other historians, academic historians, kind of what we're circling around to, is that in a context like this, where we're teaching American history in the United States of America to students who either are American or for whatever reason are in the United States completing their college education at an American university, what we kind of think a lot about is that really our identity, in terms of when we think of who we are, what we are, our identity is really the sum of the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves. And my friends in psychology, sociology, etc., they'll tell you, they tell me, that that's also true at the individual level. So when I think about myself, who am I? What is my sense of self? Where does that come from? It's really kind of a collection of memories, which I have shaped into stories I tell myself about who I am. Well, that's also true collectively. At the level where we talk about not just one person, but more than one person, the kind of we level. If you think about it, I'm sure you can think of stories that your family maybe has about who you all are as sort of a family. We tell ourselves stories. My friends who are Pittsburgh Steelers fans, right? They tell themselves a story about what it means to be a Steelers fan. Similarly, at the national level, we see that too. And a great example of that is something like the 4th of July. What are we doing on the 4th of July? I mean, we're, going to barbecues, fireworks displays, but another kind of way of thinking about the 4th of July is as a ritualistic celebration of our national origin story. So, okay, so how we think about the past influences how we think about the present and vice versa. That sounds sort of abstract, but a really great example we have of that that's happened more recently has been these controversies about statues of Confederate figures, which are most common in the American South. Should statues stay up? Should they go down? What should happen with those statues? The statues made sense for the people who put them up. That happened actually not right after the Civil War. It happened about 100 years ago most of the time. At that time, it made sense to put these statues up. For today's generation, some people think it makes sense to keep them up, some people not. I mean, you're welcome to your own opinion about that. I'm not here to tell you what to think about that really, but I am here to say that the reason people get upset about it, it's a controversy, people can't all agree about it, is that those statues are telling a story about the past, and that story doesn't quite resonate in the same way today that it did several generations ago. That's just one way of thinking about how and why people care about the past. So, okay, I think you should care about the past too. I think that, we can all sort of sit around and have uninformed opinions where we're upset, we're yelling, or we can find out the facts for ourselves, find out as much information as we can, and make maybe informed decisions from there. So one of the things you'll be talking about for week 1 in our class is a controversy not about Confederate statues, but about Christopher Columbus. So we'll get to that in a minute. Your first assignment. Reading outline 1, you're answering reading questions for a PDF I've put up, which is an excerpt of A Patriot's History of the United States. And then chapter 1 of A People's History of the United States. And what you're going to catch on to really, really quickly is that these are 2 books with very different interpretations of American history generally, and specifically the early colonial time period. So here's the reading outline 1 assignment. Here's the PDF. I want you to read. I want you to start by going to the website for this book. I didn't have you read the whole book or buy it, but it has a website. I've given you a PDF of part of the book here. Just want you to check out the website, answer this question, come up with a citation for the book, do your best. This is practice. We're practicing. I want you to look at the PDF and then answer these questions. Then, totally different interpretation is Zinn's A People's History of the United States. Answer these reading questions. Boom. That's reading outline 1. I put these pictures of Columbus here. Heroic Christopher Columbus, not heroic Christopher Columbus, to help you see that these are different interpretations. And that's exactly what I want you to get out of the readings and to start thinking about. Journal 1 asks you to think about these same issues in the context of Christopher Columbus. What gets commemorated about the past? Why and how? And I encourage you to remember that this class is about your interpretation of the past. And so to that end, the Journal 1 assignment, you're going to actually start with some free writing, which is where you just write for a while. You don't worry about what you're saying or if it's right or wrong. We're just free writing. So you do 1 page of free writing. Then on that first page of free writing, here's some questions for you to write about. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about if you're right or wrong. Just write. Then I'm going to have you watch a couple little videos. In one, Christopher Columbus is a hero. In one, he's a villain. Then I'll have you write a more formal reflection. I've given you instructions for how to cite. And what I want you to do is just follow these instructions where you're arguing for one point of view, then another point of view, and then for your own point of view. So, to conclude, do not hesitate to contact me with any questions, comments, anything like that. I'm here for you. You can message me on Canvas. You can email me at ddamico@francis.edu and have fun doing some history.